Football Final, presented by Mazda.
Let's get college football final off and running with best of the best in the FCS College Game Day at the Dakota Marker game. North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Fourth quarter, South Dakota State trailing 16-9. Keaton Heide fakes a handoff, runs in for the touchdown. Guys, the game's tied at 16.
And Dana J. Dykeman Stadium is erupting.
You don't just roll the ball out there and get a win. Trey Lance to Adam Cofield, backbreaker, ball game, 71-yarder. We learned a lot about that Dakota Marker.
Yep, North Dakota State 29 in a row.
Keep them coming, 23-16. For the best of the best to the best of the worst.
Oh.
UConn 1-6.
Oh.
UMass 1-6.
Tough.
Look, that by FPI, these are the two worst teams in America. That's not me.
Don't tell
that's
UConn
FPI.
that. They're ready to roll.
But you just don't.
Here we go,
UConn.
UConn.
Running back
Show 'em
Kevin
speed.
Mensah
Show 'em
takes the
speed.
handoff.
Get outside.
Speeds around
Hit
the
the track.
defense. Helmet sticker implications. Mensah the touchdown. UConn takes a 7-0 lead. These UConn Huskies that got the win, they will be on national television Friday.
56 points.
Come
for
on.
UConn. Let's go.
Come on,
Friday.
See you
Huskies.
Friday, UConn.
Let's do it. And perhaps the best finish, peak Les Miles. Kansas field goal attempt blocked by Texas Tech.
Scoop and
Watch
score.
what happens.
Go score.
Go score.
Go score.
Pitch it. Pitch it to your guy.
What is he
Pitch it
doing?
to your
Pitches
your,
it to
no, your
no one.
guy.
Kansas recovers. Guess what happens? Liam Jones gets to redeem himself. He gets another
Block it
opportunity for a game winner. Watch this. Ball game. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. Kansas wins 37-34. And with that,
Miles to let's go.
we welcome you into week 9 of the college football season. Jess Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Barrie, college football final presented by Mazda. I don't know how this is happening, but it is the final weekend of October. We move into November, and if what we saw coming out of the noon window again on Saturday is any indication, gear up for a good final month of the season. Oklahoma at Kansas State. They haven't lost in Manhattan since 1996, but I should tell you, it was homecoming game. You know what happens on homecoming games. Oklahoma leading 3-0. Jalen Hurts, little trickeration here. CD Lamb, Nick Basket, all kinds of stuff.
This is why Lincoln Riley is one of the great offensive minds in the game today. Super creative early in this game, and looks like Oklahoma just going to roll as
Yeah,
usual.
you know, just get out there, would lead to a touchdown, 10-0. Second quarter, Oklahoma leading 20-17. Hurts fakes the handoff. They try to go to this well one too many.
Yeah, it might be one too many trick plays, but honestly, it's a good throw. You just got to catch this ball, but when you don't, K-State will make you pay. All of a sudden, K-State is in this game. They had a chance to score here and take the lead at half. Oklahoma's not gone in at half behind this season.
So A.J. Parker with the interception. Here's what Joey's alluding to. Skylar Thompson runs it in. Kansas State up 24-20. They would take the lead at the half. First time Sooners have trailed this season. Pick it up fourth quarter. And, Jesse, this turned into a blowout.
You know, it did. In Kansas State, they were the more physical team. They ran for 213 yards offensively. They owned the line of scrimmage.
Look what happens.
Yeah,
Super
go
fans.
home. They're down
Get back
Wheels
five.
falling
You're
off
good.
our schooner on
It's
the
over.
road. We're out of here. Ensuing drive, first play, what happens? Hurts finds CD Lamb. Lamb makes an entire defensive player's miss. 70-yard touchdown.
Last game, CD Lamb did not score a receiving touchdown first time all season, so you knew he's going to make his mark in this game. And all of a sudden, Oklahoma's showing some life.
Okay, so another drive now, 48-38, third down conversion. Hurts uses his legs and again throws across his body. Perhaps ill-advised, finds Lamb.
Yeah, but you knew if they were going to get back in this game, it was going to be because of Jalen Hurts. Great job throwing it. Also ran the ball 19 times, guys.
So a two-score game. Lincoln Riley bangs the timeout. They kick the field goal to make it a touchdown game, 48-41. You got to get two scores. May as well get it while you
Might as
can.
well get it when you can.
All right, so
Here
the
we go.
onside kick, guys, this gets set it up. Ready?
You want to ricochet this off of someone. There you go. This is exactly how you draw it up. Recover it. We got a game.
And
They're
then
down
it's in
7.
position.
We have a game.
No, guys, we don't. Because
What?
after a perfect execution of an onside kick, they want to review it, and they determine that Trajan Bridges touches it before the 10 yards.
Oh.
That's illegal touching.
The fans are all coming back in the stadium.
And look at this. Kansas State at top 5 upset. Fans love it. Chris Kleiman, big win.
Well, we said before the game we belonged, and we're trying to make a statement with our program. The guys have gotten better each week. It's not perfect. We know it's not perfect. But when you love each other and you battle for each other, great things can happen.
All right, so in the past 3 seasons, Lincoln Riley now one of 2 FBS head coaches with multiple outright losses as a 20-point favorite. You had the Sooners 30.5-point favorites at Iowa State, but still recovered to make the college football playoff. And as you would imagine, Lincoln not happy with the performance today.
We've been through this road. Everybody in the world's going to say we're done. We know how this works, and so we know what we're capable of. We got to all do a lot better, coaches, players, everybody. There's everything left out there for us, and we know that. And so, you know, we can't listen to all the noise on the outside. We got to do a good job of getting ready for the next one and learn from this. And we've always responded well when we've had a tough one like this, and I would fully expect that this team will do the same.
With respects to the noise and Oklahoma, a lot of the noise has been positive around OU and that Alex Gritch defense to start the season, but at least on Saturday they found a couple of ways to be exploited.
For the first time this year, it looked like this defense that we had seen in previous years from Oklahoma, where they were sloppy and struggling, couldn't tackle people, giving up explosive plays. And it started in this game with not being able to get off of blocks in the run game. We talked about how K-State ran for 213 yards. If you can't get off these types of blocks, there's a lot of green grass behind you in the second level, and K-State was able to exploit that. They also had poor awareness in this game. It's 4th and 6 right here. I want you to look at the defenders up at the slot right here, running a quick out. The nickel defender and the safety backing up and not defending the sticks. This is just too easy pitch and catch for Skylar Thompson. There's too much space. You just got to be more aware of down and distance. And then finally, 3rd and 10 down in the red zone. You're going to blitz, that's fine, but you got to stay in your gap. And at this point right here, it's one-on-one with the safety. Not able to make the tackle, 2 guys miss. And this is a defense now still has to play Brock Purdy. Iowa State still has to play an explosive offense in Baylor, and Chuba Hubbard coming up. Oklahoma State, they got to get better if they're going to win the Big 12.
You heard Lincoln Riley say in his postgame press conference, everything's still in front of the Sooners. Big picture, do you agree with that assessment?
I don't agree with everything still in front. They have to be very impressive. The problem is there's one undefeated team left in the Big 12 now, and that's Baylor. And I don't know that they'll be ranked high enough to count as a huge boost in this record. Now, when you get later in the season and you take a loss like this, and the rankings come out on November 5th, and we'll see what the committee says about this Oklahoma team, you start to wonder, where's the big wins? Texas taking a loss today hurts Oklahoma's resume. And so you start to look for these huge resume wins, and where do you get them now? Baylor, possibly, but if you get to the Big 12 championship game, who's that game against? Maybe Baylor again? There's no more undefeateds for you to get this big win again, so it's going to be interesting for Oklahoma.
Big 12 took a hit. Maybe the Pac-12 can benefit from this. A big one in the SEC, Auburn, LSU, first top 10 matchup in Baton Rouge between these two schools since 1972. It was loud in Death Valley, and these games are typically close, even though LSU big point spread favorite coming in. It was a physical game. Joe Burrow, good touch here to Terrence Marshall, who was back in.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was under a lot of pressure in this game, but he had his full complement of wide receivers, and as a result, went 32 of 42 on the day for over 300 yards passed.
Joining Tim Couch from 97 as the only SEC quarterbacks to throw 30 touchdowns in their first 8 games of the season. Yep, we got Tim Couch into the program. Tied at the half, 10-all. LSU now down 3. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets in for started running well for the Tigers.
Yeah, Edwards-Helaire, 136 yards rushing in this game, and we've seen this all season long. It is Joe Burrow throwing the ball, but Edwards-Helaire, he gets dirty, he's tough to tackle, and he makes this offense unstoppable because what do you try to take away the run of the pass?
I tell you, and he's a physical runner, kind of a style that you like to beat, browbeat you late in the game. Then Burrow, he used his feet as well.
Yeah, great job just understanding the down and distance. 3rd and 8, nothing open downfield, using his athleticism for a guy at 6'4" that moves very, very well.
Yeah, perhaps people a little surprised at how well he can move. Here's a good illustration of it. This is a designed run for the touchdown.
Yeah, and he was hitting this game. He was sacked 3 times, took a lot of big hits. Joe Burrow needs a bye week. He needs to get in the cold tub, get ready. Big one coming up, Alabama. They're going to try to put some pressure on Burrow after watching Auburn get to him 3 times.
3rd game this season, 300 yards passing and a rushing TD. Later, Bo Nix to Seth Williams. Auburn not done.
LSU slowed down the Auburn rushing attack. They put the game in Bo Nix's hands to have to beat them. That set up this onside
Got another onside kick, gentlemen.
It's perfect.
Oh, that's a good bounce.
Right there.
I tell you, we saw onside kick throughout the country today, and a lot of them by the kickers were executed perfectly, but they could not get recovered. LSU now first team in the AP poll era with 3 top 10 matchups within its first 8 games. Coach Joe gets the win.
Coach, you have told us all year you don't want to talk about November 9th in Alabama. All right, how long are you going to give yourself to enjoy this and then get ready for the next one?
About 2 seconds. We're going to get ready to go.
I feel like we're going to bounce back really well. I feel like I know the season's not over with yet. Everybody's going to count us out, and they're going to start throwing us to the curb. But, I mean, once again, that's just what always happens to Auburn. And we know that we know what we're capable of. We're going to continue to fight and battle, and that's just what kind of players we are. We're Auburn men.
Yeah, we definitely showed toughness today, and it wasn't pretty by any means, but SEC games aren't going to be pretty. And when you can come out on top of a top 10 team and feel like you could have played better, it's always a good thing.
Jesse, what did Burrow do under pressure?
It's the intangibles. Unbelievable pocket presence in this game. Here you got a 280-pound defensive end, Marlon Davidson, coming off the edge. Burrow's in backfield. He's looking around, scanning. Doesn't have his feet set. Sandwiched between 2 defenders, but he's able to keep the focus downfield, spot a receiver, and avoid the negative play. Avoid a sack and make it 2nd and short. On this play here, you got Derek Brown, who's going to be a top 10 pick in next year's NFL draft. He's splitting a double team right in Burrow's face. At 6'4", though, he can see the field. He can spot Jefferson on the deep crossing route. Soft focus around you, strong focus downfield. And on this play, 3rd and 12, you've got Brown coming up the middle. You got Davidson coming outside. Split the defenders and go get this with your feet. Phenomenal athleticism. It was a great job today under duress for number 9, Joe Burrow, and great toughness.
Speaking of under duress, the weather just created havoc in the matchup between Notre Dame and Michigan. Virtual lock implications for Jesse in this one. Let's pick it up early. Shea Patterson gives to Hassan Haskins sign of things to come from
Yeah,
Michigan.
and this kind of weather, it's whoever can run the ball best. And early in this game, Michigan looks like the more physical football team.
Notre Dame came in having won 3 in a row against Michigan. Zach Charbonnet had a nice game.
Yeah,
Touchdown.
they ran for 303 yards. I think that's really the brand of football Jim Harbaugh wants to play.
Charbonnet then punches it in from 1 yard out. Notre Dame only gives up 151 rushing yards per game. Michigan had 167 at the half, 17-0. What about Notre Dame's offensive struggles? They couldn't get anything going, Jim.
They really couldn't. Ian Book was 8 of 25 in this game, and they just could not run the football. They've been really good running coming into this game. Tony Jones Jr. averaging 136 yards for the last 3 games, but they just couldn't get it going tonight.
Just washing off all the turf on Ian Book's face. 17-0 down at the half. They had to find something, and they get it. Cole Kmet throwback touchdown.
Well, there was a questionable pass interference call on Cole Kmet that kept this drive alive. And ultimately, a little towel for you there.
Yeah,
how about that?
fans
Nice
weren't
of
happy
the
about
fans in Ann Arbor.
They weren't happy about it.
Let's get that helmet dry.
17-7 at that point. Ensuing drive. This, to me, was the biggest thing Michigan did is they answered.
Yeah, it's a backbreaker. And on the back end, when your safety comes up, takes the stiff arm to the face, and you get back in scoring position after you score, it takes the momentum back. And that's what Notre Dame had. They finally got on the board. It's like they got things rolling, and then this big run puts Michigan back in scoring position.
Haskins, 149 rushing yards, most of Notre Dame has allowed to a single player all season. Then Patterson to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, I really like the way that Shea Patterson has played these last 2 weeks. Only threw it 12 times in this game, 2 of them for TDs.
Michigan, the big one, 45-14.
What is so great about this one?
It was just amazing. Couldn't be more proud of our defense and just our team collectively. We played together as a group tonight, and got a little bit of revenge from last year, so it was fun.
Congratulations to Michigan. They were the better team tonight. In all phases, they were better. We certainly didn't coach well enough tonight. It didn't play well enough.
Joey, take us inside the Michigan running game.
They were physical, and this is what we expected to see from this Michigan offense coming into this season, their ability to run the ball downhill. We know they want to go play action pass, but that all begins with the run game. Haskins had 149. That's a career high for him, but watch the blocking downfield. If you can get your offensive linemen into the second level and start picking off some of these linebackers, that's where you get the big plays, the stiff arm there, and then Notre Dame has to make tackles with their safeties. And then the athleticism of the offensive line, you pull a guy around, you run at that side, everybody is covered up. And then running backs, you got to make one guy miss. That's just what you have to do. When you run it for 300 yards against a team like Notre Dame in that kind of rain, you're going to win the game. We talked about the end of the Penn State game and the confidence it built for this Michigan team moving forward, even though they lost. You could see that tonight. They look like a much better Michigan football team and one that could get interesting at the end of the season when they play Ohio State.
This eliminates Notre Dame from playoff contention and any playoff talk, but perhaps that signature win Jim Harbaugh needed for this program. Guys, remember when Ohio State, Wisconsin was going to be the big game? We're talking about undefeateds in the Big Ten, Penn State, Minnesota. Well, Ohio State, Wisconsin got bumped to the B block because it was that kind of game. And Mac Jones gets his first career start for Alabama. How would he fare? Find out next.
College Football Final is presented by Mazda. Feel alive. And in part by Sonic, home of the Junior Garlic Butter Bacon Burger.
Welcome back to College Football Final. We had virtual lock implications. Buckeyes in Wisconsin. Ohio State had won 6 straight against the Badgers. A big reason why for the Buckeyes' success this year. Chase Young, and I don't know that there's a more dominant player in the country.
No, and Ohio State did a nice job moving number 2 around on this defense. First, second, and third down. Putting them in places they hadn't shown earlier this year, and that was confusing Jack Cohn in Wisconsin.
Young, 4 sacks, tying a school record, 5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. That, my friends, a solid college football Saturday. What about the offense? Justin Fields and that crew, they came alive late in the second quarter. Kind of a sloppy, wet game early on at the shoe. Then Fields finds Chris Olave, 27 yards.
Ohio State always comes alive in the second quarter. They lead the country, scoring 21 points in the second quarter per game.
Third quarter, Buckeyes ahead. Fields keeps it himself, 10 yards. But we were watching this because he was grimacing a little bit.
Yeah, took a big hit, kind of landed hard onto his back. He would go into the injury tent. They take a look at him, but he would stay in the game.
So a good sign that Fields could come back, and an even better sign of how well J.K. Dobbins is running the ball.
J.K. Dobbins, 163 yards in this game. In 3 of his last 4 games, he's gone over 150. He's tough. You can't tackle him with one guy on the back end.
Guys, can we pay respects to the stiff arm for a second?
He spends time in the weight room, I think.
Violent. That looks like a clean and jerk move. And then Dobbins finished off the drive, 9-yard touchdown run, 221 total yards, becomes the first ever Buckeye to rush for 1,000 yards as a freshman, sophomore, and junior. Buckeyes roll, 7th straight. Oh, the stars, Fields and Young love it.
I think, in all honesty, we could have put up 50. I think if the weather was different, I think we could have threw the ball more, and I think we could have put up way more points than we did. But I'm just overall glad we got the win, and I'm just glad that we're 8-0.
They didn't show me too much attention, but they did chip and slide to me, a couple of times. But, just went out there and played my game. Whatever they gave to me, I just tried to attack it the best I could.
All right, so the last defensive lineman to earn a New York Heisman invite, Ndamukong Suh, 2009. Chase Young stated his case against Wisconsin. I brought up the absolute absurd stats that Young had Saturday against the Badgers. Just a dominant performance out of the Buckeyes. And Joey, when you take a bigger look at this unit and what they were able to do against Taylor and Cohn, what led to this big win for that Buckeyes defense?
You're playing Wisconsin. The first thing you want to do is take away Jonathan Taylor, and they held him to about 60 yards. And when you get in the second and long, third and long, you have to pass. That's when Chase Young comes alive, gets to just rush the passer. And the problem is you have to decide how many guys you're going to try to block Chase Young with. He's 6'5", he's 265. He's as athletic as any player on the field. And you can see here, Wisconsin is late bringing the second guy, 2.6 seconds. He's at your quarterback. And now this is just a man-to-man block, and there's nothing a tight end can do. I guarantee you the tight end's looking over to his sideline saying, Coach, seriously, you leave me with Chase Young the way he's dominating? And then once again, he's off the ball and by the tackle before he has a chance to look around. He had 4 sacks in this game, really took over the game. And it really doesn't matter what the offense does when Chase Young is playing this way, because he's dominating the game. He's getting the ball back, creating these turnovers, and this is a ball that they scoop it and they take it already in scoring position. He is ruining offenses, and they're going to have to figure out, you got to block him with at least 2 guys, maybe 3.
That makes it their last 7 opponents where Ohio State hasn't allowed them to score 10 points. Defense is looking really solid. So is J.K. Dobbins on the offensive side.
Yeah, it's an improved team from a year ago. Defense, one reason. And Chase Young needs to be in the Heisman discussion, by the way. But also, they're a better rushing offense. than they were a year ago. And the offensive line is the biggest reason these guys are getting pushed up front. They're getting in the second level. Having Justin Fields is an upgrade running from where Dwayne Haskins was a year ago. And then you've got J.K. Dobbins, who's a physical runner. He has the ability to make people miss, and he gets better as the game goes on. And he's another guy that needs to be in the Heisman discussion to this point. So when you consider they ran for 268 yards against a good physical defense in Wisconsin and over 320 rushing yards against Michigan State earlier, a good run defense. This is an offense that now knows they can run on anybody they want. They can score in a lot of different ways, and they're going to need to be able to run the ball, especially late when they play Penn State and Michigan, their last 2 regular season games.
And as you saw in that graphic, when you're joining the likes of Archie Griffin in school history and doing it as a freshman, sophomore, and junior,
Eddie George,
you've had a nice career at Ohio State. Now 8 straight games in which the Buckeyes have won by 20 or more points. Let's check in on Alabama. You guys know the story by now. No Tua as he sits out with the ankle against Arkansas. Mac Jones, first career start. Do this. Find Jerry Jeudy.
This is all we're waiting to see all day long. What is Mac Jones going to look like in a game starting for Alabama? He went 18 of 22. Now they go into a bye week, but this is a great start for Mac Jones.
How about a little tied defense, pick 6 by Trevon Diggs?
And Trevon Diggs has been Johnny on the spot. Remember, he had that long fumble return touchdown on the goal line last week against Tennessee. Here, getting the 84-yard pick 6.
So the defense rolling, then Talia, Tua's brother, comes in looking like his older brother. Buys some time to find Brian Robinson Jr.
By this time, the game is over, but give Alabama credit. These 2 young quarterbacks stepped in, made plays. And look at this receiving group they're throwing to with Jeudy and Ruggs and Smith. And they can score from anywhere.
He looks like a right-handed version of his brother.
He does. That's scary. 31 straight at home for Alabama. Longest streak in SEC history. Here's Saban with an update on Tua.
Tua is doing really, really well. He's on the Ultra G already, running on the Ultra G. We expect him to return to practice by midweek, this week. I don't know what he'll be able to do or how much, but, that's sort of the prognosis for where we are right now.
So it's bye week to prepare for the SEC showdown. Alabama, LSU be the 3rd matchup as top-ranked teams in the country and the first since 2011 at the BCS title game. That was a regrettable performance. This is the most played such matchup in AP poll history. Let's visit the Big Ten again, shall we? Penn State, Michigan State, everybody rolling right along. People said, watch out, Michigan State coming off a bye. Virtual lock implications for Joey, Sean Clifford to Pat Freiermuth.
Hey, go watch this again. It's a beautiful spiral from Sean Clifford, and it's a nice route here by Freiermuth. But come on, cornerback at Michigan State. You got to make a play.
Let's not disrespect Freiermuth in front of me because watch, he just bulldozes his way into the end zone.
Michigan State is typically a man-to-man defensive team, but they realized Clifford kills man-to-man, so they went zone, and he still found a way to score.
And then he's got Freiermuth. Now he's got Hamler. Hamler making a couple of guys miss.
Chris Olave at Ohio State's been real good, but I think K.J. Hamler's the most explosive wide receiver this year in the Big Ten.
Hamler, 5th consecutive game with a receiving touchdown, tied for the longest streak by Penn State player the last 57.
It's a party.
That guy's having a great time. I mean, why wouldn't you? And then Brandon Sowers muffs the punt. And Penn State takes over the 6-yard line. Special teams also.
Yeah, think about the last 3 weeks for this Penn State team at Iowa. Then they beat Michigan at home, and now go on the road in a sloppy game and beat Michigan State in their house.
Can we get it to Freiermuth one more time, please?
Yeah, and how about Clifford, too? A sloppy game, hard to throw it, but he still threw 4 TDs, unfazed. They're a complete team.
First time 8-0 since 2008. They're still rowing the boat at Minnesota. Tanner Morgan to Rashad Bateman, setting up a nice one.
And I tried to tell you guys about this Minnesota team in the Big Ten West. You guys kept worrying about Nebraska.
Like now.
Minnesota's the best.
Tyler Johnson. when did this discussion happen?
Tanner Morgan had a good day throwing it. They also ran for 321 yards in this one.
You know, you find your oars, you virtual lock them one week, and now you're in love with them. Go for 52-10.
He's been telling us
everybody listen. PJ Fleck has something to say.
I can tell ESPN, believe me, trust me. You come to the Twin City area, you come to the University of Minnesota for is Penn State undefeated? An undefeated Penn State team, an undefeated Minnesota Golden Gopher team in this Twin City area where they host the Super Bowl, the Final Four. Next is game day, naturally. That's why I think they should come here.
Here's what I'll say. That same week is LSU, Alabama. But here's what I'll also say. I'm all in for it. I'm with Fleck.
Row the boat.
I say we go. How about we take our show
There you go.
to Minnesota?
If the game day guys won't go, we'll go.
Can you imagine?
We'll go. Don't
we
worry
show
about it.
up.
Don't you worry.
We show up. PJ's like, oh, look, Herbie and Desmond and Reese showed up.
Joey's been saying we should go there all year. He's been saying
so here we are. You know what? Find the budget roadshow. The first matchup featuring two Big Ten teams, 8-0 or better. That isn't Ohio State, Michigan in the AP poll era when Penn State and Minnesota meet in a couple of weeks. Lucky for you guys, it just approved the trip. Still ahead, TCU. They were the underdog or the favorite taking on Texas, and Chuba keeps on running. The Big 12 is everywhere. Plus the showdown we've been waiting for, the best to wear number 7. Is it Galloway, Palmer, or neither?
The field.
Find out next on College Football Final.
Welcome back to College Football Final, presented by Mazda.
You know, there was a thought that maybe Boston College could give Clemson a run at home. That was just a thought. Trevor Lawrence to DeAndre Overton, 22 yards.
Great stats for Lawrence, 16 of 19, 3 TDs, but the most important stat, no interception.
Yeah, and Joey, based on what we saw at Clemson Saturday night, probably the most complete performance of the
Yeah, they had 576 yards of total offense while holding Boston College to 177. This is the Clemson offense we expected.
That's exactly right. Again, an Overton here, 63 yards.
Yeah, it's not just Justin Ross, T. Higgins. They've got Overton. He's also 6'4". He can also make plays after the catch. Their defense scored a touchdown. This was total domination by Clemson.
Racket, 23 straight for the Tigers, 59-7. Had another upset in the Big 12, Oklahoma State and Iowa State. First quarter, Tylan Wallace, 71 yards, and maybe the effort of the day.
Yeah, and Tylan Wallace had a big game. 8 catches, 131. And this touchdown where he runs over a couple guys. Get off the stiff arm.
Come on.
Let's give another guy that didn't want to make a tackle. Takes in the end zone. Oak State up early.
I think you'd admire that because that wasn't your style of play.
No, not at all.
No. Chuba Hubbard
leads the nation in rushing, and this is what I think makes him special, guys. It's the breakaway speed. We see a lot of running backs get caught week in, week out. That never happens to Alberta's pride.
I was going to say, I'm so proud of you. There wasn't one reference, but there it was. And Brace Hall, this ties the game. It was a close game, 27-all in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter now still tied at 27 apiece. Brock Purdy made some questionable throws on Saturday, and this was one of them.
He really did, but he threw for 382 yards. This one he would love to have back as Oklahoma State snaps a 3-game losing streak.
That ended up being the difference, 34-27 Pokes win on the road. Texas and TCU. TCU closes the favorite at home. Texas' season has just really gone downhill. Virtual lock implications for Joey. Max Duggan here to Tabor.
Yeah, statistically, this is the worst defense in Texas school history. So you know that Duggan was going to take shots.
But surprising Saturday was Sam Ehlinger's struggle.
Yeah, you know what? He hasn't looked great in these last couple games after starting off a great game against LSU where he threw 4 touchdowns. In this one, he throws 4 interceptions.
Watch the defense here and watch Washington read Ehlinger.
Yeah, and you can see, and I'm going to blame the receiver here. He gets wide. He doesn't cut across the safety's face, and the safety's looking at Ehlinger, throws it right to him. Great play, but that receiver has to break up that interception.
3 interceptions coming into the game, 4 on Saturday. Duggan takes advantage. Jalen Wager.
Yeah, we talk about the injuries Texas has in its secondary. It wouldn't matter if their starters were all playing. Jalen Wager can run by anybody.
And how about this now? TCU leads 30-27 in the fourth quarter, 3rd and 14. Texas decides to send the blitz. Duggan makes him pay.
Yeah, and this is a great game and a great win for TCU, but Texas losing this game, it really actually hurts the Big 12. This is a great throw, back shoulder. TCU continued to make plays at the end of this game to put it away.
5th consecutive
Duggan,
game.
yeah, the true freshman. He was the best quarterback in this game. Also 72 yards rushing. Big win by TCU and Gary Patterson. Hey, fans, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, 5th consecutive game. They gave up 30 points to Texas. So virtual lock recap this week. Still solid. Joey 1-1, 12-5 on the year. Jesse, another 2-0 week. That's 3-0 for you. 3 weeks in a row, 11-6 on the season. So 3-1, the record on virtual locks. We continue to celebrate 150 years of college football, the best to wear number 7. I know this is going to be difficult for each of you, but you are not allowed to choose yourselves. So Jesse, we'll start with you.
Well, if I can't choose myself, I'll choose another Florida quarterback that wore number 7. How about Danny Werfel? Back in 1996, he became the second player ever from Florida to win the Heisman Trophy, joining Steve Spurrier. They threw it downfield. He was throwing to Riedel Anthony, Ike Hilliard, Jacquez Green, averaged 17.5 yards per completion, guys. That's still an FBS single-season record. It was an honor to wear number 7 after Danny Werfel.
And since I can't choose me, I'm going with a very athletic number 7, a guy that was fast. Michael Vick may be the most exciting player to play quarterback in college football. He took the Hokies to 11-0 regular season berth into the BCS title game, led the NCAA in passing efficiency, a record for freshmen in that season. And I tell you, when this guy takes off running, nobody's catching him.
So those are your guys' picks?
Who's yours?
What do you mean?
Well, who's your pick for the best number 7?
Don't mess this up.
Yeah, just.
Oh.
Don't you screw this up, Barry.
Yeah, just
whenever
you're ready.
You want me to pick?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, those number 7s, they're great. But for my choice, I'm literally torn in half, split right down the middle. On one hand, you got Jesse. He did something at Florida that Emmitt Smith never did. 4 rushing touchdowns in a game. Emmitt Smith never did it. It came against Kentucky, and at the time was a school record. Jesse was also a captain on the 2000 SEC championship team. But on the other hand, Joey was great at Ohio State. Remains the only player in Ohio State history to have 3 receiving touchdowns in multiple games. Ranks 6 all-time in receiving touchdown. It was drafted 8th overall in 1994. Again, I'm torn down the middle. I just wish someone could help me decide. So, there you have it, guys. Look at the credentials.
Luckily, we made that 7 look better than you just did.
Yeah, essentially, Matt Barrie, you were the perfect college football player.
Little thick in the
You
middle.
were the ultimate weapon.
Little thick in the middle.
Well, that's the jersey.
I like to go half shirt.
We can see that.
Yeah.
Both of you played in the NFL, so here it is.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. There's the jersey. The best to wear number 7.
What size is
We've
that?
got to have it. It's quadruple XL, but nonetheless, I'm split because I sit next to both of you, so I'm just going to.
You're a really good teammate.
You like that?
Yes,
yeah,
you
we
are.
appreciate that.
All right, well, at least one of us is here on the set, so there it is. We're going to lay this down in honor.
And it's
the best to wear number 7.
It's a starter jersey also.
Now you know we're
school.
going vintage. I bet someone on eBay paid a lot for that. Pac-12 playoff chances. Are those back up and running? And does anyone, and I mean anyone, want to win the ACC Coastal? We'll whip around and go no huddle coming up next on College Football Final.
No excuses. I got no excuses.
Dark Washington State and Oregon. Washington State leading 10-9. Javon Holland picks off Anthony Gordon for the touchdown, but later Oregon would go for 2. This was big.
3rd and 25. You're expecting a screen or a draw. Instead, Mike Leach tries to take a shot, and it cost them.
So just before the half, which was a wild end of the half, Justin Herbert there for the touchdown. Good throw. Later, this Anthony Gordon to Renard Bell to tie it at 17 apiece.
Anthony Gordon leads the country in passing. You know you play them. You have to play defense on the back end. They're going to put points up.
What a game by C.J. Verdell. Runs it up. Oregon leads 24-20. Fourth quarter, Verdell again.
Yeah, it wasn't the Justin Herbert show. It was C.J. Verdell running for over 250 yards.
Still in the fourth quarter, Anthony Gordon trying to bring Washington State back. They can do that quick.
Yeah, and Arconado's his favorite receiver. 120 yards so far in this game with 1 touchdown.
All right, so Oregon looking to close out Washington State. More Pac-12. Utah looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. Good game out of Tyler Huntley tonight at home.
Yeah, probably not 100%. Had the calf injury against Arizona State last week, but he gutted it out. Tough performance.
And then just, you know what, when you need to, Zach Moss.
No,
Give
Utah's
it to Zach Moss.
Utah's sitting at number 12, and they're wondering, why does everyone keep talking about Oregon? We're right in this thing, too. They got a chance.
And now let's take a look at who you guys think could be in the college football playoff with the Capital One fan votes.
And this thing continues to get interesting, Matt. Georgia, a couple weeks ago, Wisconsin, 2 weeks ago, and now OU changes what we look at our top 5. What do you got, Palmer?
Okay, I am liking Sean Clifford more and more and more the more I watch this sophomore quarterback play. He's been battle-tested against Pitt, Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, 20 TDs, 3 interceptions on the season. Penn State is a complete team.
I agree with you. And the fact that they went on the road to beat Iowa and beat Michigan at home, and then go on the road in a sloppy game, beat a Michigan State team that is good on defense, their future is bright.
All right, who you got at number 4?
At number 4, board malfunction. Number 4, I have Ohio State. I have Chase Young. I got Dobbins. They look terrific. It's going to get fun. But interesting enough, because Michigan now looks like a different team, at the end of the season, the Ohio State-Michigan game could be really good.
I liked what I saw from Trevor Lawrence this weekend. When he makes good decisions and he takes care of the football, and you compare that with what they're doing on defense, they look like the best team in the country. Really, really impressed with what I saw from them.
What do you got, Jesse?
I got Alabama number 3, and I give Steve Sarkisian a ton of credit. Mac Jones looked real good, 18 of 22 in that game. Defensively, they score a touchdown again. Bama number 3 for me.
I agree with you. I got Alabama at number 3. Mac Jones, 18 of 22. Don't worry about that. 2 will be ready in 2 weeks when they play LSU. 1 versus 2 is going to be fun. That would be 2 versus 3 on my board. LSU. Interesting about LSU, Burrow only threw 1 touchdown in this game. First time all season long, but they proved they can run it with Hilaire with 136. They're a really good team.
Ohio State, toughest test of the season at home against Wisconsin. They were so physical on both sides of the ball. Look, they're beating people right now by 40 points a game. And I think they have 3 players on their roster that should be in the Heisman discussion right now. You've got Clemson.
Surprise, surprise. I'm keeping the defending national champion at number 1. You already mentioned it, Trevor Lawrence. No interceptions. That's all I needed to see. They're still the best team in the country.
LSU, the Joe Burrow show, we talk about it every week, played really well against that good pass rush from Auburn, but they need the bye week badly, especially when you consider the emotional and physical games they've recently played against Florida and now against Auburn. So here's our top 5, Matthew Barrie. What do you got?
I love them. I love them. I disagree with Joey's. I like yours. Here's what's in store for the next weekend. Florida, Georgia, the rivalry. A couple of intriguing matchups in the Pac-12. Don't forget to give your Capital One fan vote via the SportsCenter Twitter handle on Monday. Hurry up offense time. Let's speed it up and give you some one plays from around the country, starting with Iowa Northwestern. First quarter scoreless. Nate Stanley, and this was my best effort of the day from a receiver, Tyrone Tracy Jr., 50-yarder.
And this is big because Iowa doesn't have a lot of guys at receiver that can run by you in man-to-man coverage, and that's why they haven't had a ton of explosive plays in the passing game, but this is a fantastic individual effort by Tracy.
Yeah, and this not as exciting. Mekhi Sargent right up the gut. Iowa wins 20-0, second shutout of the season for the Hawkeyes. You want to talk about a good undefeated team? Appalachian State had won 16 in a row with Zach Thomas as their quarterback. Continued to look solid Saturday. Thomas Hennigan, 19-yard TD.
Yeah, and this App State team, they score points and they run the football. 349 yards rushing in this game. Sitting at number 21. They could be maybe the best group of 5 team. Look for them maybe to get that New Year's Day game.
And you mentioned the rushing. Raekwon Anderson, 67 yards. App State stays perfect, 32-3 the final. What about Chip Kelly? He's got it going a little bit with UCLA hosting Arizona State and Joshua Kelly, the big game.
The offense the last couple of weeks is looking a little bit closer to what we used to see from Chip Kelly's Oregon's team because they can run the football, 225 rushing yards in this game.
Yeah, they're getting it from DTR, but they got the running game going.
You're right. This is the 3rd straight game they've run it for over 200 yards. They only got 2 wins on the season, but this UCLA team is playing a lot better football as they knock off Arizona State.
164 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns for Kelly. UCLA wins 42-32, most points allowed in the Herm Edwards era. You know, there were so many plays to choose from, so many great catches. Who ends up coming up on top for top plays?
This is College Football Final, presented by Mazda.
So Virginia was supposed to be the best team in the ACC Coastal, then they ran into Louisville Saturday, and Javian Hawkins, 17-yard touchdown.
Louisville ran the ball for 277 yards rushing, and now we have 4 teams in the Coastal that are supposed to be the best team in the Coastal sitting with 2 losses.
Look, and you know what that did? That loss opened up the door for North Carolina to sneak back in there, and maybe the worst jump pass in college football history.
Yeah, so many close games for Mac Brown here. Picked off by last year's quarterback, Chaz Surratt, now playing linebacker. Mac Brown now the winningest coach in UNC history.
How about that?
They do it on the same day they win the victory belt.
And that was for the win. And it didn't go. And yet, like you said, Mac Brown, congratulations, winning as coach at UNC. Big comeback from Miami on the road, taking on Pitt. Jaron Williams fights K.J. Osborne.
Yeah, and Pitt turned the ball over 3 times in this game. And then you look at the Coastal, you got Virginia, you got North Carolina, you got Virginia Tech, and Pitt now all sitting there with 2 losses.
Don't you step on my full screen. I'm about to show you what happened in the ACC.
I just wanted to let you know what was coming.
There it is. Every team has at least 2 conference losses. Virginia, North Carolina. Look, here, I'm going to just sum this up. Everyone's in play in the ACC.
They're playing for the right to get beat up by Clemson.
That's right.
In the ACC title game.
It's time for some What Were You Thinking? Look at this guy. Big fella dancing.
How about the coach next to him is like
trying to keep up?
I'm going to try to get in.
Which one? The one on the right or the left?
Both of them. Let me jump in.
Well, he wins the day and the game. Look at this punt. Oh,
nope. No.
Is that punt? Does that technically count as a college kicker situation?
That looks like my 3-iron.
Oh, well.
He drop-kicked it.
He did. Was that intentional? I doubt not. All right, so the old drop kick punt. How about a Michigan?
Well, slip and slide action.
But it's not far
That
enough.
is the shortest slip and slide.
Yeah.
It's not,
well, no, because it's about numbers.
So what were you thinking is the length of the slip and slide?
Yes. At least that guy made it over the end, though.
Normally, you could say something about the Michigan offense here, but they were good on Saturday. You know what? It's time. We debated, deliberated, tossed out names, threw out names. We have ended on our 6 helmet stickers. Find out who they are coming up next. A Monday Night Football Dolphins Steelers coverage begins 6 p.m. Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. All right, it has gone final. Pac-12 after dark. David Gordon bringing him back, finding Arconado.
Arconado atoning for an earlier drop in the end zone that was intercepted by Oregon.
Well, so again, back and forth game, Pac-12 after dark. Justin Herbert is Juwan Johnson, 24-yarder.
And it's a lot of swing passes in this game for this Oregon offense. Put up 528 total yards. This one puts them in scoring position, have a chance to win the game with a field goal.
So the game-winning field goal after the Washington touchdown, chip shot, no college kicker situation. And Oregon keeps the playoff hopes alive. 37-35, the final.
College Football Final is presented by Mazda, Feel Alive, and in part by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Week 8, NFL. Get it started, 10 a.m. Eastern with a countdown crew on the ESPN app as well. Tulane and Navy, great finish here. Malcolm Perry tends to run this offense at a high clip, and he does so again here. 33 down to the 33-yard line. 21-yard scramble for Perry.
385 rushing yards for Navy. These was 2 excellent running teams.
Sets up the game winner, Bashawn Nichols, 48-yard ball game. Navy wins.
You don't like kickers, but they've been pretty good.
They've
been good today.
41,
how much you love
38. Hey, let's get into top plays, shall we? Starting with number 3, we've got Campbell down 27-20. Alex Santiago takes it back. Oh my God, look at the clutch block. Campbell wins in overtime, 49-47.
Blocked it with his shin.
That was it. They needed that to take it back for the touchdown.
First block ever blocked with someone's shin.
That's true. Number 2, Ryan Helinski towards the end zone, and Brian Edwards.
This was incredible. We were all watching this. We couldn't believe this here. Brian Edwards going up, skying this thing with one hand and getting both feet down.
It was a good play. Not a good day for South Carolina, but either way, great play for Helinski. And then the top play from Saturday. San Jose State Army. Watch this grab.
This is concentration. 2 knees down. You only need 1 knee down. He put 2 knees down as he keeps his eye on the football, grabs it with 1 hand. Maybe one of the best plays we've seen all season long.
It was good. Yeah, I love it. I love the concentration of all of it. That's your top play from a fun Saturday. Helmet sticker time. Joey, lead us off.
I'm going to go with Chase Young. He had 4 sacks, caused 2 fumbles, and absolutely dominated the Wisconsin offense.
That's a good one. True freshman quarterback Max Duggan from TCU. Career high 273 passing yards against Texas. Do you know that He's the first TCU quarterback to throw a touchdown against a ranked Texas team in 20 years.
That's amazing.
Andy Dalton.
Good stuff out of Duggan. I'm going to go with the upset of the day, and I'm going to go with Skylar Thompson, quarterback, Kansas State. 213 passing yards. That's not what made it impressive. 4 rushing touchdowns for Skylar, the big win over Oklahoma.
Jermaine Martin, North Carolina A&T, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now here's what's impressive. He did it on 7 carries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Down the road, Kevin Mensah, UConn.
Yeah.
This guy ran for 5 TDs against UMass. We're going to get a chance to watch this guy run coming up on Friday.
Can't wait for Friday night.
It's going to be good partying on Friday night. Don't say I hate kickers. Justin Rohrwasser for Marshall, 4 for 4, 2 for 2 on extra points, but the game-winning 53-yard field goal.
That's a bomb.
That is a helmet sticker for a college kicker. All right, so that's going to wrap up the month of October. Quickly, a thought on what to look forward to in November.
Looking forward to LSU, Alabama. And if Michigan keeps playing the way they are, the Michigan-Ohio State game will be outstanding.
Florida, Georgia in Jacksonville next weekend to see who the best team in the SEC East is.
That really kicks it off. You're going to know a lot of things in the month of November. That's the one that everyone remembers.
Can you
Jesse
bring that
Palmer,
jersey every week?
Joey Galloway, Matt Barrie. I'll get the jersey again.
Bring it back
There we go.
every week.